Hey everybody, welcome back to the Apartment A3 podcast. Back after a week of hiatus, there was a studio move last week. So it happened to be right on the Tuesday, so that's how that went down. Basically, I just switched bedrooms, is really all it came down to. But a little bit bigger studio space in here. It's a little bit airier and definitely more traffic noise, which will annoy me over time. Hopefully it doesn't bother you guys. I'll try not to talk about it and bring attention to it when I hear it. But other than that, it seems like a better space. I feel like it's a better fit. It's kind of a new, you know what I mean? It's like a new start, a fresh take. You know what I mean? A little fall cleaning, as it were. Just trying to change things in my life, to better, to better suit my energies, or lack thereof. Definitely suffering today from the winter blues, and I know it's like, oh, it's 60 out. That's not bad. It's that for me that sucked. I really didn't do a whole lot today, and I always have a shitload of stuff to do. So, of course, then I'm down on myself for not doing it, and then I'm like, I can just take a 20-minute nap. I need to lay down. And like, you don't need to lay down, but you're gonna lay down, and that 20-minute nap's gonna turn into 2 hours, and you're gonna wake up periodically throughout that nap and go, fuck, you're a piece of shit. You're such a piece of shit. Well, hit snooze again. And so that was my afternoon. But I did get a few things done, so I feel slightly accomplished. I went for a mind-clearing, thought-provoking walk because fat guys like me don't run very much. But I did it right before the podcast, so I am sweaty, but turning off the fan and air so it doesn't make noise. But it felt good to get outside while you still can. It felt good to get in a little bit of exercise, some kind of physical activity, some movement. Not just in the opposition of laying down and sleeping and being just a piece of shit, but just sort of in general, physically exerting yourself, even the slightest bit is good. You need that, I guess. At least I think so. I definitely find that I feel better when I do. Even though I might be tired or I might be sore that day or the next day or whatever, if I actually, do work out. I have not, Scout's honor, being honest, have not been sticking with the workout program that I had started working on. While I am disappointed in myself for that, not disappointed enough to restart it. So I don't know what that says other than lazy piece of shit, unmotivated. Definitely dealing with a little bit of, like I said, the winter blues, a little bit of feeling just general depression, kind of like, I don't know. Like I could do stuff. I should go write. I could just watch It's Always Sunny for 3 hours. I didn't do that today, but I have done that in the past, so I know it's a thing that I can do and have done. So maybe out of the idea that it wasn't something, or rather that it is something I've done before, I'm like, well, I don't want to do that again. I mean, that's just repeating yourself, which is all I seem to ever do. Ask anyone I've ever dated. So new studio space. So that's why we missed last week. And I'm feeling good about this spot. We're going to see how it goes. I might need to put some soundproofing in or something. Just something to reduce some of the echo. But I don't know. Maybe I won't. Who knows? So in working on building the brand, which I just admitted wholeheartedly that I have not been working on doing, I purchased a flash sale item on Amazon Prime. It was this little like HD sport camera with like a waterproof case and stuff, and it was on sale for $30, and it said it's normally like $889. So I'm like, holy shit! I mean, I would be stupid to not buy that. So I order it, and it takes like a week and a half to get here. And it's clearly from China because as you're reading the instructions, they throw random T's into words that just don't belong there. And I don't think they're just typos. But not only is it not worth the $889 that it says it costs normally, I think $30 might be too much for it. But I don't know if I'm going to bother to return it just because it's such a pain in the ass to, like, the time out of my day to rebox this thing to drop it back in, to go to a UPS store for $30 when I can make it do something or it's just the $30 I paid for making a bad decision. Oh, it's a flash sale. Oh shit, this is a good idea. I'll get that now. Did you do any research? Did you see what other items were that were like it, what they were going for, what they normally run? They run anywhere from around $50 for a similar item to, you know, like $200 or $300 for some of those GoPros, some of the, like the Hero 5s and stuff that are really good ones. So I was like, all right, well, back to square one. And of course, Apple releases the new iPhone XS. So I'm like, great, the iPhone X is going to come down in price, to go through AT&T, who is my carrier, to lease it, to then only have to return it after you have it for 20 months or whatever it is, 2 years, and you basically pay for it in that time, to have to give it back to them makes no fucking sense to me. It's a difference of $35 for the X and $38 for the XS. Which I get in a marketing standpoint of, well, for $2 more a month, I'll have the brand new phone. Which kind of screws over my idea of like, oh, cool, I'll be able to get it for cheaper and then use my other phone for other shit. So that's kind of where I've been with that. The perpetual mundane, blah, blah, blah. Work, 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 work. I won't do the rest of the song, though. On the note of songs, though, holy shit. So last night, anyone that remembers Waiting Room on Delaware, which, you know, only closed maybe a year or so ago. God, I don't think it's longer. Maybe two. I think it's only like a year or so ago. It was owned and operated by my friend and a very long time, Chris Ring. He has a new spot on Chippewa that used to be the Lodge, formerly Crocodile Bar, and it's now called Rec Room. And they had their first show last night. It was actually one of my favorite bands of all time, Face to Face. They just put out an acoustic record. They did acoustic versions of a lot of their more popular songs from their 27-year history. I didn't even realize until Trevor Keith, the singer, said that last night, that it was 27 years. And I went, holy fuck. And then I realized they had a DVD that came out called The First 7 Years, which I have somewhere. And that was about 20 years ago. Thank you, Bob Calabrese, for giving that to me. It was very nice of you. 27 years. That's insane. That's just crazy to me anyway. But so they did this acoustic record called Hold Fast, the acoustic sessions. And so they're touring a lot of smaller clubs. You know, they used to do a little bit larger places, but they're touring some smaller clubs and doing these acoustic songs. And it was such a great show. It was really, really fun. Everybody was singing along. I mean, the room was about a third full, so I felt kind of bad, but everyone was pretty involved. I'll speak on this in a moment. Buffalo crowds have a tendency to not be the most attentive. And it's not just Buffalo, but I see that. I mean, I see it here all the time. I've said this, I don't know if I've said it before in the podcast, but to a lot of my friends, my brother and stuff, we're all aware that Buffalo crowds, no matter what the musical genre, are fucking terrible at hanging around and calling for an encore. They're terrible at it. Just unanimously, hands down, every show I've ever been to, it's been garbage. They chant for a second or so, half the people start to walk away. The lights are still down, kids. That means the show's not over yet. How do you not understand how this shit works? For 30 years of going to shows, well, maybe not 30 years of going to shows, but 27 years of going to shows, and it's been a very long time that it's been like that. In the early days, it wasn't as bad, but I mean, in the early days of me going anyway to shows, but it always annoys the shit out of me. And in the smaller clubs, when you have smaller like acoustic level sets, if they're more intimate and it's not a full band blasting you, so there's a lot more dynamics in the room. And when I hear people just having full-blown conversations, it makes me furious that they're just not, even if they're not there to see that band or that group or that guy or whatever, to just be there to ignorantly just blabbing away about whatever horse shit's going on. It makes me really fucking mad. So to that point, local guys, Wolf Tickets opened up for Face to Face. They did a few acoustic songs, versions of their own shit, and a Joe Strummer song, I think, and something else. But this guy, Austin Lucas from Indiana, who has 9 releases out. They're all available on iTunes. He has a new record that just came out called Immortal Americans. This dude, full sleeves, looks like a punk rocker, country music artist. Grew up in Indiana as a punk rock fan and became a country music artist. Anyone who knows me knows I'm not a fan of country, but this dude, just him and his guitar, blew me the fuck away. This guy's voice was incredible. His understanding of the dynamics of his instrument is just impeccable. In this about third filled room, and it's downtown Buffalo, so they're like long shotgun like buildings. He, for maybe half the songs, maybe like a third to half the songs, would step away from the mic and just sing full voice into the room, and still playing his guitar like through the PA, and managed to blend them well just on his own. And his voice was incredible. His control was great. The songs were really, really great. The one that I think I liked the most, I wrote it down here. It's called Alone in Memphis. It's on his album Stay Reckless, also available on iTunes. It was so great. But not only was this guy's performance amazing, there was only maybe 3 instances in his whole set where I heard anyone say anything or make any noise. Everyone just sat. My brother and I were in awe, not just of his performance, but the fact that everyone was there quiet, actually listening to this dude perform, many of which probably didn't know him at all. I certainly didn't, and as a guy, he's my age, he's 39. He's like, as a kid who grew up loving punk rock in Indiana, and if you told me 10 years ago or 20 years ago that I'd be touring with Face to Face one day, I'd say you're out of your mind. But here I am and playing these country songs. And it was just, I just can't say enough about how impressed I was. Like at the end of the last song, I was so welled up. I looked at my brother and I'm like, I'm not fucking crying, you're crying. And he's like, what? I seriously, I just can't say it. It was just such a great show and a really fun time. And it made me miss going to shows and realize how much it is that I love going to shows. It's just so much harder now being older. And I mean, everyone, he acknowledged it. Face to Face, those guys are all like in their late 40s. They acknowledged it. I got a spot like along the bar, just kind of leaning against it. Just on the one side, like it was on my left side, and I'm facing the stage. And of course, I keep having to shift from left to right leg because my hips are out of alignment and everything's starting to get sore. And I can tell the guy behind me just wants to say, "Fucking stay still, bro!" Like, but it's like, but I weathered the storm. It was good, but I'm excited for other shit. I miss going to shows. I miss being excited about music. When I talk to people now, a lot of the kids in their 20s and people I work with in their 30s, they'll talk about a band or musician that they love right now, or even this guy Chris that I work with. Chris is pushing 50-ish, and he's one of those guys too who just still listens to music all the time, and he finds new shit and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't listen to music anymore. All I do is listen to Joe Rogan's podcast. I don't even listen to NPR. Somebody said to me the other day, well, what do you listen to like for news or whatever? Because I don't have cable either. I refuse to pay for it. It's horseshit. And I'm like, I don't. I see what shows up on social media, and then I fact check whether it's fake news or not. So, finding new music is always a lot of fun, and I think this is neat. I don't know the recordings. I listened to some of the stuff on iTunes a bit. They are a lot more full band, extra instrument. Some of them are a bit more like fast paced than the performances of the songs I remember from last night. So they're still really good, but there was something about the magic of just him and his guitar in that room and everyone just paying attention, and there was an electricity to his set that was very different than the one for Face to Face. Face to Face was like, I didn't know exactly what to expect acoustically, but they really jammed out. It was actually really great. But I definitely did not expect to hear this dude and go, holy shit, like here's a musician who's not a new musician, but he's new to me, who has this catalog of stuff, who's just really, really good. My brother bought his new record on vinyl, so hopefully he'll let me listen to it. Can you copy vinyl? Is that a thing? I'm going to buy a CD, but it's actually sold out online right now, and I couldn't stand in line to wait because, against my better judgment, every time I go anywhere where I prefer to be the person who drives himself. Not that I catch a ride with anyone or that I give anyone else a ride, because I don't want to have to be responsible for anybody, and want to be able to come and go as I please. I took a ride with my brother and sister because we went to dinner first. So I decided not to hang out in line and buy stuff and go home instead because I was tired. Back to the point of us all getting older. ETID Christmas show has officially sold out. I am so happy I got my tickets the day after the show last year when they first went on sale. I am beyond excited for that. I am also, and I don't know if this was out last time, the last episode 2 weeks ago, but my other favorite band of all time, Snapcase, also who happens to be from Buffalo, will be playing that show with Every Time I Die. So it's kind of just the perfect storm of awesome. And I'm just incredibly excited for it. I'm gonna need to rest before I go, like the whole day. Just the day before, just sleep and rest and drink tea and hydrate. It's gonna be nuts, but I'm really excited about that too. But yeah, that's music and an art festival just happened, and I guess that was pretty good. Oh, the guy, Dennis, I think his name is, the guy who's currently the second guitar player for Face to Face is involved with a team that did a documentary about I think there's a few out about the opioid epidemic in the country. And it's going to be premiering at, not premiering, it actually already won 2 film festivals, but the Buffalo Film Festival coming up in October, they're going to be on that as well. And they're hoping to win that as well. So I guess it's supposed to be a really good documentary, and I can't for the life of me remember what it's called, but I could probably look it up at some point and maybe put it in the comments or something. But just neat stuff. Waiting Room's first show. They didn't have their liquor license, so they were giving away like free bottles of water and pop, and you could like buy Red Bull if you wanted to. So a dry concert was weird to go to. And Trevor even goes, yeah, this is great. He goes, this new venue with the new venue smell. Because it's kind of fucking weird that we're the guinea pigs with the no alcohol, because that's why nobody's singing along, which wasn't exactly true. People were singing along, but they, did a great job engaging. But it's a neat venue. And I talked to Chris yesterday. He said sometime in October they're going to be opening up the kitchen as well, just to do like some snacky kind of thing. So I think that, that's awesome. I'm happy he was able to turn around the closing of his last place, which I don't know the details on. It was not really made public why they were parting ways. I think it had something to do with the person or people who owned the building versus Chris, leasing the space, and I don't know what the deal was, but something along that. It wasn't because the place wasn't doing well, because Chris was doing 200 events a year, and there always seemed to be tour buses out front, so I don't believe that's why it was, but yeah, he's got the new spot and new shows and cool stuff, and I don't know, man, that's how it's been for me. What about you guys? I believe I don't know if I have the comments open on the website, but I will make sure for this episode that I have them open. So drop me a line, send me, I don't know, questions or something you might have a question about that of me, or like that you think I should talk about or go over, or hopefully nothing awful or shitty, or I'm a piece of garbage or whatever. I'd like to avoid that kind of stuff, but that's what you invite when you open up comments. So, but I'm just thinking, I work each week to try to find things to talk about, and it just sounds like I'm just recapping my last week and what's going on in my life. And I know that I make the category for this comedy, and my total intention is to have this be a fun comedic thing to listen to. I think at best it might be sometimes interesting, maybe. And so to better assist with heading in the direction, I guess, that I wanted to head in, maybe ideas from you guys would be cool. If you're like a personal friend of mine, just text me. or shoot me a message on Facebook Messenger or whatever. Any of the social media stuff, just hit me up. If you want to come on, hit me up. I'm still, actually, I believe I have, for next week, I have a guest coming on. Mike Tronconi will be returning. I believe he said something about talking about mac and cheese. I guess we'll see when he gets here. But it's going to be a short one this week because I do have to go get the babe. But I just wanted to come back and say, hey guys, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for subscribing. If you have not subscribed on iTunes, I'd be fucking really happy if you did. That'd be cool. I will be shortly, hopefully by next week, I'll be adding Google Play. I think that's the store, and possibly SoundCloud as places to host the music from, so that you have other options for downloading, not just sticking to Apple. I'm an Apple guy, but I know a lot of people aren't, and I want to make sure that everything's available to everybody. So I'll be working on that as well. But again, if you have any questions, comments, jokes, riddles, if you want to come on and just talk about whatever, so hit me up. All right. Everybody take care of each other, right? Have a good one.